I'm Julie Michaels, and welcome to Homeward Bound.
I'm sitting in the railway station, got a ticket for my destination. On a tour of one-night stands, my suitcase and guitar in hand, and every stop is neatly planned for a poet and a one-man band. Homeward bound, I wish I was homeward bound. Home, when my thoughts escaping, home, when my music's playing, home, when my love lies waiting silently for.
Every soldier has a different story, as unique as the soldier themselves. This show will bring you the sometimes difficult, but most time heartwarming stories of coming home. My first soldier story is about Victor Vincent, otherwise known to his friends as Cajun Vic, a self-described regular guy from the hometown of Huntington Beach, California, by way of New Orleans. His tools of the trade range from his rifle and a cigar to a spatula, and as I interviewed him about his return from Iraq, I found that whether he was serving in the Army or serving up Cajun grub, the love of his country would bring pride to not only his family, but to every American. Going on there?
I got some turkey and sausage gumbo going right now.
Gumbo!
Aye.
That'll serve your heart and your tummy. So tell me, what are the three things that you missed while you were over there?
I really miss my daughter and my family. And I miss being able to just do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. All that was taken away from me when I went over there.
And what about three things that you miss now that you're back here in the States?
Well, I really miss my friends that I left behind here. And I'm worried about them and concerned about their welfare. Try to stay in touch with them as much as I can. And I miss not being able to be a part of the development of what's going on with the country right now.
Now, some of these friends aren't necessarily Americans either. You made friends with a bunch of different people.
Yes, a lot of different people. I ended up working with Fijian mercenaries for a while for a private contracting company. But I was a U.S. soldier working with them.
One of the stories that you told is the prayers before the mission and the prayers after the mission. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Fijians are very deeply religious, and before and after every mission, we would form a circle and they would sing a prayer. And actually that platoon was the least hit of all the platoons that were operating.
Oh, the power of prayer.
That's right.
Real special guy. I mean, I'm really fortunate to have to meet him, and he's been great with Noah, and he's taken Noah fishing, and you know, every time we come around, he's got some good stories for us, and we always really look forward to seeing him, and he's great. We were worried though. I mean, we, you know, every time, you know, there's something going on in Iraq, when he was over there, it was like, you know, please not be Victor, and so, you know, it was a big relief when he came back.
Anytime there's jambalaya around, you'll always find friends of Vic's around, so, you know, it's funny how, you know, that, you know, even though that some guys are not veterans, they're not military personnel, I was with HMH 363, CH-53 helicopter squadron, and I was stationed in Tustin, California, and was over in Okinawa, Japan, and Korea, stationed over there back in 1980. When I got home, it was nothing like the guys that are overseas in Iraq, their experience getting home. They have to readjust to a whole different kind of environment. Whenever you're finding just utter chaos, having to look around every corner for someone trying to kill you, for IEDs to look out for, whenever there's life and limb on the line every single minute, and then you have to come back and adjust to being back home again, it's really very tough. It's not easy. Of course, you know, it's strange, but many of them look to try to get back to their fellow soldiers back overseas because they kind of miss the adrenaline rush sometimes. But I tell you, there is nothing like home, and I'm sure that they'd be glad to get home as quickly as they can.
So your mom was the influence for your cooking. Who was the influence for you to go into the service?
That would have been my stepdad. He used to always talk about his experiences in World War II and everything, and he was very proud of his service. And when I joined, I was very proud that I joined, and he was the first person that I called and told him that I had enlisted.
What did he say?
Yeah, he couldn't believe it. It was really proud moment for both of us. Yeah, people. Really good people.
I want to talk a little bit about Mosul.
It was pretty rough when I got there. We were mortared constantly. We were shot at. We were rocketed. So it was a rough place to be.
And where were you when you said the people were so happy that the Americans were there?
We were driving in a convoy back down to Mosul. And we stopped, and our convoy stopped, and you know, it's always an anxious moment when we stopped in a city, and the traffic was stopped on the other side also. And I was looking out the window and just watching everybody, you know, making sure that, you know, everybody's okay and everything. And I looked at this one guy, and he was just sitting there smiling at me. And I looked at him, and I just went, well, and I waved at him. And every person in every car went, how are you doing? You know, it was like they were all just sitting there dying to wave at me or at us, and they just wanted somebody to start it. And once I started with that one wave, everybody smiled and waved and everything, and all of us in the convoy were sitting there going, do you believe that just happened? It was so strange.
So while you were gone, I don't know if you know, but my son and I wore bands in support of our troops. And I noticed you have a pretty unusual and beautiful band on. Can you tell me about that?
Well, this band was made for me by a dear friend of mine at the aid station in Mosul. But what it signifies is I lost a good friend, Major Soltis, and after he was killed, then and I was telling her the story about it. She said she was going to make me a band. So she sat there and she made it. They're all handmade, and now I saw a lot of people that are starting to wear them, and what they are is just in remembrance of the person that you lost. And Major Soltis was a great person. So every time I look down at it, I think of it, and I'll wear it until this 1 year anniversary, and then I'll put it in my safe and keep it there.
It's a nice tribute.
I'm a master sergeant in the Army Reserves. I'm in a different unit than Vic now, but I still know Vic, and we've kept good contact over the years. So, and I do civil affairs. I instruct civil affairs now, so I instruct in what Vic does and what Vic did over in Iraq. Well, I've seen a lot of them coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan, Djibouti, and a lot of other places. A lot of the students that I get now have already deployed to, you know, other places in the global war on terrorism. So. Most of them are very anxious to get back. I think there's some adjustment for a couple months afterwards. Kind of depends on how good they are with their employer and stuff like that. If they have a stable job and so forth, I think that helps out a lot. I think most of all, they spend a little bit of time after they get back just adjusting to being with their families and their loved ones and all that, and they really, appreciate a lot more of what they have here in the United States than they did maybe before. So, believe it or not, there are still people in the military now that were in Vietnam and all that, and so I guess I do have some perspective just hearing them talk about it, but I think it's, drastically different. There's a lot more support for the military people now. Even the people that are against the war, I think, support the military, for the most part, so I think that helps out an awful lot.
So you told me a story earlier that I thought was really unique. When you see that symbol that says, support our troops, what do you do?
Well, if I have the opportunity, I'd love to go up and personally thank the people for supporting me. And because every time I see one of those, it makes me feel good. And I'm glad when I see them. And every time that I've done that, they go, thank you for what? And I said, thank you for your support. I'm a soldier. I've just returned from Iraq. The response is always really, really good from all those people.
So this is Miss Emily. Hello, Miss Emily.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good.
This is a fabulous day because your dad is now home from Iraq.
Right.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
I bet you do. And when he told you that he was going to have to go away, how'd that feel for you?
It felt sad.
And who is this?
This is Snowball, my dog,
And how long have you had Snowball?
for a year.
So pretty much from the time that your dad left for Iraq is when you got Snowball.
Yeah.
Did Snowball kind of help you through that time when your dad was away? So kind of a little comrade to
Yeah.
keep you happy.
Right.
When I left, she was a little girl, and when I came back, now she's a young adult. And, there's a lot of things that I missed. I've been trying to catch up.
So do you have any funny or memorable stories about when you came home?
Well, right after I got home, I went into Albertsons, which is where I used to shop there every day before I left, and I have many friends throughout the whole store. And when I walked through the door, all of the cashiers looked up and went, "Oh my God, it's Cajun Vic, he's back home." And they all came running over to me and everything, and were screaming, that I was back home. And then they made an announcement over the loudspeaker that Cajun Vic was back from Iraq and everything. So, and they were great support while I was.
And they call you Cajun Vic
Yes,
because you're a chef.
yes, I am.
Did you start cooking back there?
When I was about 9 years old, I started cooking.
And who was the cook in your family that you learned from?
My mom, and but I was just a natural at it, and I always loved it. So I pursued it when I was going through high school and cooked at hotels and restaurants, and then just worked my way up through the kitchen. And then now I'm working on my own. I'm writing my second cookbook, and I'm working on a DVD project to go along with the cookbook.
Cool. Can I be on it with you?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to have you.
So I have just one final question for you.
Okay.
How do you define freedom?
Freedom is being able to do whatever you want, when you want to do it. And not having somebody that can stand there and tell you, no, you're wrong, or you can't do that. And it's something that's very precious. And until you've been over there and seen it and had it taken away from, a little bit taken away from you, being over there, but having seen these people who have lived the way that they've lived for so long, it was moving. It was very moving.
Well, I know I speak for most Americans when I say thank you. You're welcome.
Tonight I'll sing my songs again, I'll play the game and pretend. But all my words come back to me in shades of mediocrity, like emptiness and harmony. I need someone to comfort me. Homeward bound, I wish I was homeward bound. Home, where my thoughts escaping. Home, where my music's playing. Home, where my love lies waiting silently for me. Silently for me.
If you're a vet or have a vet in your life that has a story about coming home, please write to me at juliemichaels.com. I'd love to tell your story. Thanks again for joining us.